So firstly, we'll look into delusions. So delusions, it refers to erroneous belief, a false belief that is held firmly in spite of contradictory evidence. You give them like strong evidences, still they will hold on to the false belief. So it is a disturbance in the content of thought, and mostly it is not based on the reality. It is often irrational or impossible. Most of the people who are having schizophrenia, they experience delusion. At least 90% of the population who is having schizophrenia, they experience delusion. And some people, they will have only like single delusion that dominates the complete behavior, whereas some people, they will have like multiple delusions. um, this delusion usually it focuses on a particular theme, and based on this theme they will hear some voices which we call it as hallucination. And some people, they will have several types, several themes as well. There are actually different types of delusions. The most common one is delusion of grandiosity or grandeur. So here people will believe themselves to be great inventors, or saviors, or they think that they have like special powers, um, like they have like supernatural abilities or something. So they'll think that they are someone of higher status than all of us. So then the other delusion is related to control, where people believe that their thoughts are being controlled by other people. So under that we have thoughts broadcasting, where people will think that their thoughts are being broadcasted to others. Then we have thought insertion, where people think that the thoughts are being inserted into one's brain by like external agency, probably someone they suspect. Okay, so they will be talking something, in between they will stop and they will start a different sentence, and when we question why are you doing this, they may probably tell that yeah, someone is asking me to talk this, someone is making me to express the statement of something of this sort. Then thought withdrawal is something that they will go completely blank, and when you question, they may tell that someone has robbed of or someone has taken away all of their thoughts. Then delusion of reference is where a normal neutral environment, uh, but it will still be believed as it has been intended for them. They will take everything personally. Then we have somatic delusions, where they feel that they have like serious medical condition, even when the medical evidence shows otherwise. Also, they'll still think that they experience all of these things, and they may think that their internal organs are rotting, the eyeballs are oozing out, or the stomach is rotting, one of my lungs is not functional, something like this. Okay, so they may give somatic symptoms. They may tell that some of their body organs are not working. Then delusion of persecution. This is another common type of delusion that people with schizophrenia have. Here, they will think that some people are plotting against them, or they're being discriminated, or they are being slandered, threatened, or attacked. They feel like they are being spied on. Okay, so this is very common. And apart from this, they also experience paranoid delusions, like something in relation with the persecution delusion. Okay, so as I said, some people with schizophrenia, they will have just one single delusion, whereas others may have many delusions. Next is hallucination. Okay, so hallucination is another common symptom that is experienced by people with schizophrenia. So it is basically a sensory experience that seems real to the person having it, but it occurs in the absence of any external perceptual stimulus. Okay, So there are basically sensory experiences that are not based in reality and can involve any of the five senses. Can be sight, it can be sound, touch, taste, or smell. Okay, and many people they confuse it with illusion, but illusion and hallucination are completely different. Illusion is something where you misperceive a stimulus. For example, in a dark room, I am sitting on a rope, I may misperceive it as a snake. So that is illusion. Okay, so the stimulus will be there, but still I would be misperceiving it. Whereas hallucination, on the other hand, there won't be any external stimulus, but still you will find it, still you can see it, still you can sense it. Okay, so this hallucination, it is an error that is happening in your perception, whereas delusion is an error that is happening in your thought, that is happening in your belief. Okay, so you should know the difference between delusion, hallucination, and sometimes people may even question you the differences between illusion and hallucination. Okay, so any of the five senses can be involved in hallucination, and mostly people with schizophrenia they experience auditory hallucinations. This is the most common type of hallucinations. They may tell that they are hearing some voices. Some voices would be very very rude to them, some voices would be very friendly, and most of these voices, these hallucinatory voices, it would be in connection with their delusional theme. So people with schizophrenia, they always misattribute their own internal conversation to another person. Like they think that it is coming from an external source. And as I said, it will have its relevance with its delusional um, belief. And the people, they get very much involved with their hallucinations. And most of the time, these hallucinatory voices, it may be positive, sometimes negative. They may provide instructions or commentary on the person's thoughts or actions. And many patients they report that they hear more than one voice, and most of these hallucinations uh, happen when they are alone in a room, so which makes it very worse for them. Apart from auditory hallucination, people with schizophrenia they also experience visual hallucination, where they tell like I can see someone standing there, someone is smiling at me, someone is waiting for me outside. Okay, so say they can see something that is actually not there. They also experience tactile, olfactory or gustatory hallucination. They can smell something that is actually not even there. Okay, so these are the different types of hallucination. Now, going to the third positive symptom, which is disorganized speech. Disorganized speech, it involves a range of speech disturbances starting from tangentiality, neologism, derailment, incoherent speech, and word salad to many other speech related difficulties. So I'll explain all of these in detail now. So first is tangentiality. Tangentiality is basically a speech pattern where they give you all unnecessary details. They give you all irrelevant details. You ask something, but they go roundabout and they give you all unnecessary details, which will make the listener feel bored, or uh, they would add some extra details that is not even necessary for the conversations. Next is neologisms. Basically, they will create new words or phrases that are mostly nonsensical. Um, it would have a rhyming tone or something. They would coin a new term. That those words you cannot actually find in dictionary. And then derailment is basically switching from one topic to another topic. and you can't find any associations between those two statements. And then word salad, usually a sentence should have subject, verb, and followed by object. But here they would mix all of these things and they would give you something. So all of these things would make it, it would be very, very difficult for the listener to make any meaning out of the sentences, okay? And it can often be a source of frustration for the person who is listening, not just to them, even when the schizophrenics, when they are trying to communicate something, but because of these problems, they utterly fail in doing the communication part. So, as I said, these communication difficulties, it is not because of their poor intelligence, or it is not because of language differences, or it is not because of cultural deprivation. Okay, so before schizophrenia, their speech would be completely normal, organized, but post schizophrenia, they have difficulties in expressing or in articulating their thoughts. In disorganized behavior, the goal directed activity, usually all of our activities are goal directed. Okay, so you need water, you feel thirsty, you drink water. You feel like cutting your nails, you cut your nails. You feel hungry, you go and cook something. Okay, so most of our activities are goal directed, but these activities are completely disrupted when you have schizophrenia. Okay, and because of this disruption, your normal functioning would get completely affected. Your work life would get affected, your social relationships would get affected, the way you care for yourself, self care and grooming would get affected. Okay, so there are, I can give you like many examples of disorganized behavior in schizophrenia. Mostly, like people would be wearing inappropriate or unusual dresses. Maybe like sometimes in a hot day, they would be like wearing layers and layers of clothing, um, or mismatched patterns, mismatched colors. These things you can commonly find in schizophrenics. Then, unusual and repetitive movements would be there, like repeatedly rocking or completely they will be in an immobile position, which we call it as catatonic rhythm, catatonic schizophrenia. On one end of the spectrum, they show a lot of movements, they have this waxy flexibility. On the other hand, they will be completely immobile, they will be in this weird position for a longer period of time. So you can find both of these things in schizophrenics. Then poor hygiene and grooming, like they will not bath for days, brushing teeth, like brushing and bathing, not brushing and bathing for an extended periods of time. Then odd gestures, facial expressions, like or making some exaggerated facial expressions during conversations. Inappropriate mannerisms, like unusual mannerisms. Their gait, their walking style would be different, or mimicking another person's speech. Uh, their accent would be different. So all of these things, like you can find in people with schizophrenia, they may appear odd or inappropriate to others because of these behaviors.